In the desert, under the scorching sun, a lone figure notices something in the sky. A tear rolls down the girl's cheek, her hair fluttering in the wind. A drop of despair comes off her chin, foreshadowing trouble. Falling to the ground, the tear evaporates with a hiss, leaving a glowing trail. The girl collapses in horror, whispering, "No!" An empty vial lying nearby. She looks at the antique clock in her hand, not believing her eyes. This can't be... Her name is Alicia Lane, the only daughter of a marquis in 200 years. Beloved youngest daughter in a seemingly perfect family. Young Alicia's sweet face hid the secrets of a model family. She was protected like a hothouse flower, too precious to the outside world. That's all the world knew about Alicia. Stuttering, timid, afraid of people, illegitimate, forever with her books away from everyone. This was the real Alicia Lane as she was imagined to be. Alicia was well aware of her true position. Born a girl and illegitimate, she still survived where others could not. Despite being born a girl, she was registered as the child of the marquise herself. So she was able to live as the only lady in the marquis's house. After all, she was born a girl who was useful to the family. So when she turned 17, the marquise's order to marry came as no surprise. Bright light floods all around, heralding new events. Alicia, in a gorgeous dress, meets a stranger who says, "It's an honor to meet you, lady." The young man introduces himself with a smile. "I am Gregory of the Earl Baker family." Alicia, a little worried, replies, "Yeah, I'm Alicia from the Marquis of Lane's family." The coat of arms of one of the families symbolizes their influence in the imperial capital. Another coat of arms indicates the family's power in the north. The marriage negotiations between the two noble families seem to be going smoothly. But then, the situation changes dramatically. Gregory Baker is caught cheating. An enraged man yells at Gregory, "How dare you touch my wife?" Gregory is horrified when her cheating husband demands a duel. As a result of the duel, Gregory Baker is left disabled. Lane announced the dissolution of the engagement, but the Bakers refused to accept this, and the trial dragged on for a long 8 years. Finally, the judge's gavel blow put an end to the protracted proceedings. By the time the Lanes prevailed, Alicia was already 25 years old. At that age, she was looked upon as an old, unwanted thing. Alicia enters her father's study, timidly asking, "Father, did you call for me?" Her father, without looking at her, announces, "Your next marriage is decided." Alicia freezes in horror when she hears, "You will marry the Grand Duke of Tessin." Her future husband's name, Leichhardt Tessin, is like engraved on an ominous coat of arms. He is the ruler of Tessin, land of gold and death, guardian of the western frontier, and half-brother to the emperor. Also, a serial killer of Grand Duchesses whose weapons are stained with blood. The Grand Duke already had 6 previous Grand Duchesses. The first Duchess met a mysterious death on her way to Tessin after her wedding. The second did not survive the harsh conditions of Tessin, returned home and died of an unknown disease. A third fled from fear of death, but while returning under orders, was killed in an unexpected accident. The 4th Grand Duchess tragically fell down the stairs. The 5th was apparently poisoned, her bowl spilling onto the floor. And the 6th Grand Duchess suffered the same terrible fate. To marry Leichhardt Tessin is to sign your own death warrant. Alicia thinks, even I, who don't leave the house, know this rumor. Dad's definitely aware of it too. Clenching her fists, she realizes, my father is just sending me to my death. Alicia's inner cry, "I don't want to get married. Save me. I'm afraid. I don't want to die." But to her father, she remains silent. Father asks coldly, "Do you have anything to say?" Her violet eyes full of determination and fear. Alicia flinches at his question, only exhaling, "Ah." His father's icy stare with piercing blue eyes doesn't bode well. Tears of despair roll down her cheeks, but she tries to hold on. Overcoming a shiver, Alicia looks up at her father, her voice trailing off into "ah." Gathering the last of her strength, she quietly replies, "No, nothing." "Then return to your chambers." The Marquis cuts off, and the door closes behind her. Alicia looks out the window at the rain starting to fall. It was just so clear just now. The sky had clouded over, and now it was pouring down like a bucket, reflecting her state of mind. In her chambers, Alicia sits in front of a mirror while a maid combs her long hair. The maid gently runs a brush through the dark strands. Alicia looks away sorrowfully. "Mistress," the maid addresses her, and Alicia turns her head slightly. With concern in her voice, the maid pleads, "Please don't get married." The maid covers her mouth in horror, realizing her audacity. "Excuse me, mistress, I didn't hold back," she babbles, but Alicia replies quietly, It's okay." Alicia asks the maid to leave her alone for a while. She recalls her father's words. The Grand Duke sent the marriage contract along with a gift box. Her father told her to peruse the contents, showing her due deference. Alicia opens the ornate box and a sparkling piece of jewelry comes into view. Inside the box, something dazzlingly shines, shimmering with all colors. Alicia is amazed at the craftsmanship of the piece, her violet eyes wide. She tentatively takes the object, perplexed. Alicia examines the antique object. A pendant? Looks like an imperial relic. Opening it, she realizes, it's not a pendant. It turned out to be an exquisite pocket watch whose hands shone brightly. Suddenly, Alicia is pulled into a distorted space, the room around her floating. The clock face sprawls, and dark figures tumble through it. Alicia flies through the chaos, surrounded by debris and red light. Her long hair flutters as she falls rapidly into the unknown. Alicia lies unconscious on the floor, illuminated by a lone beam of light. Coming to her senses, she looks around in panic. What is this? Where am I? Suddenly, some kind of drop falls on her cheek. Alicia instinctively wipes her face, her violet eyes full of bewilderment. A nightmarish monster with glowing eyes and a fanged maw appears before her. Alicia stiffens in horror, her hand slumped listlessly. Turning around, she sees only darkness and ominous sharp shadows all around her. A hysterical laugh bursts out from her. Ha ha, this must be a dream. The inscription reads, Benedictine calendar year 350, January 1st, with a bloody mark visible at the bottom. The ominous phrase confirms the worst fears. Alicia has gone to hell. A flash of light illuminates the purple, craggy hellscape. The camera pans down, showing the cracked earth under an ominous blue light. Alicia sits leaning against a rock, her eyes full of tears among the shimmering crystals. A close-up of her soiled face expresses determination through despair. Okay. A huge multi-headed monster sleeps nearby, making quiet sniffing noises. Alicia realizes, if we run, now's the only chance. The inscription reads, The day I went to hell and met the beast. Alicia looks around grimly, framed by the monster's fangs. I died that day. She lies on the ground looking up at the shadow of the beast looming over her and whispers, No. A skull on the cracked ground confirms, I'm already dead. Alicia realizes the unbelievable. This sounds crazy, but I guess She looks down at death. Became immortal. Even a paper cut used to take her a week to heal. Now her flesh regenerates in a day, even if she is torn to pieces. Realizing that she can't die even if she wanted to, all she sees is a skull. In front of the monster, she kneels, babbling in horror. Excuse me. At first, she just begged, crying, Please have mercy. The skulls flying at her make her scream, What are you doing to me? Then rage seized her and she yelled, What did I do wrong? New skulls continue to fly mercilessly in her direction. Alicia recalls how she rebelled and resisted her terrible fate. Finally, amidst images of death and despair, she comes to a decision. Alicia decides to run, even if it means falling into a new unknown. With tears in her eyes, she hesitates. Will I really be able to escape? She's plagued by thoughts of, what if I get caught? What if the monster gets angry? Alicia's hand trembles with fear as she contemplates her risky plan. Despair overwhelms her, and she admits to herself, I'm scared. Curled up against the rock, she tries to convince herself, No, I can do it. I can do this. Gathering all her will in her fist, Alicia takes the first decisive step with her bare foot. She heads into a dark, ominous cave full of the unknown. Alicia rushes forward into the gaping darkness of the cave. Gasping, she doubts whether she has chosen the right path. Her barefoot, scarred feet continue to carry her forward. Suddenly, a blinding light flashes ahead. Her violet eyes reflect hope. This is the way out. Yes, just a little more, she encourages herself, rushing toward the light. With each step, hope grows stronger. Just a little more. Determination burns in her gaze. I can escape this hell. With a desperate cry, she rushes toward the saving light. Home! The thought of returning lights up her, but the dark paw is already upon her. Scarlet blood spreads in a puddle beneath her lifeless hand. Her violet eye opens abruptly, flashing with horror and pain. Two beastly jaws thrust into her frail figure with fury. One of the monsters rips off a scrap of her blue dress with a growl. What? Fail again? The thought flashed through her mind as her body was tormented. The screen is covered in blood. Tragedy repeats itself. Alicia could not escape. It had now become a living practice for hunting young monsters. "No, just kill me," Alicia whispers, unable to bear their clumsy grip. Saliva dripped from the young predator's fangs as he hovered ever closer. Unable to kill immediately, they only prolong her agony with a heartbreaking scream. A mountain of gnawed bones in the corner of the cave. The day repeated itself countless times. Alicia thinks, if that's the case, then I wouldn't die even if I married a duke. The image of a skeleton in a wedding dress, the perfect bride. If he knew, the duke would beg me to marry him. Alicia hears sounds. They're taking a long time to eat. "I hate pain," she whispers. A sudden thought, if I hate pain. Alicia realized things got easier after that, looking at the mountain of skulls. The bones scattered on the floor proved to be quite hard and sharp. Unlike her healing from her wounds, the monsters' lives were finite. It was a battle she was doomed to win, starting with the weaker cubs. One by one, slowly but surely, she began her fight back. The beast lets out a furious growl, anticipating its fate. Alicia forcefully thrusts the sharpened bone right into the monster's mouth. Her bloody hands clutch the bone weapon tightly. With her face twisted with rage and blood, she screams, "Die!" A crunch is heard as the bone pierces the flesh of the monster. Rocks rumble down from the vaults of the cave. Alicia, covered in blood, looks up with a crazed look. "That's where you belong, you bastard," she whispers, looking at the defeated monster. "Why did I—" The thought flashes across the gaping crack. Waking up in the den, the first thing Alicia did was reach for the hiding place in the wall. Her hand fumbles for something in a deep crevice. She hid the watch that undoubtedly brought her here. "Found it!" A crazed smile lights up her smudged face. In the monster's lair, where light barely penetrated, only they showed the passage of time. Alicia opens an antique clock, and its face flashes with magical light. The clock reads January 19th. Alicia realizes she has died countless times in 20 days. She stares at the glowing dial, her gaze full of grim determination. Alicia stands in the middle of the cave, clutching her watch like an artifact that gives her powers. Her foot comes down on the monster's remains with fury, again and again. She continues to stomp on the enemy, shouting out, "You devoured me!" A victory cry resounds in her mind. "No matter how many times you kill me, I survived." Memories of being eaten alive, piece by piece, trigger a new bout of rage. "Do you have any idea how much it hurts?" she screams, pouring out her agony. Again and again, her foot comes down on her defeated foe, trampling him into ashes. Suddenly, her face contorts with surprise. "Ah!" Something caught her attention. Among the monster's remains, Alicia notices a faint glow. She drops to her knees and reaches for the shimmering object. A small glowing rectangle that looks like a map appears in her hand. Alicia examines the find with surprise, bringing it closer to her face. The map flashes with a blinding light, making her wonder about his nature. Suddenly, the scene changes. An envelope with a luxurious gold seal is in front of us. The silver-haired man at the window hears the report. "Your Majesty, this is Juan." Juan enters to report an urgent matter. The Marquis of Rain's carriage has passed through the main gate. Majesty looks at the receding carriage with a grim thought. "Did someone die again?" Juan replies with a concerned look. "Not really." Juan clarifies, "The Marquise's daughter is missing." His Majesty chuckles crookedly. "What a meaningless play on words." His hand slides over the window frame. He's deep in thought. He ponders whether she is missing, ran away from her marriage, or was doomed to die. Suddenly, the scene changes, with Alicia leaping to attack a huge monster. April 1st, 3:58, Benedict. Alicia fights fiercely with burning eyes. The powerful impact shakes the ground, scattering rocks and dust. The sharp tip digs deep into enemy flesh. Alicia stands on a defeated monster. The text reads, "Alicia survived hell. And what's more?" With a bloodied but smiling face, she thinks, "I have a good feeling this time." Alicia looks around the neighborhood with a chuckle, asking, "Where are you hiding?" Behind the stone is a figure with cat ears, long claws, and a sly smile. 3 bright pink magic stones appear in Alicia's hand. She throws rocks on the ground, causing a small explosion and raising dust. A guy with cat ears flies out of the dust, attacking Alicia and noting her size. His powerful fist strike leaves a deep crater in the ground. Alicia deftly dodges, soaring into the air with a bone spear and the question, "Who are you?" She lands behind him, grabbing his hair sharply. with a furious cry of, "How dare you!" The boy tries to break free. Alicia pins him to the ground, her eyes burning as she growls, "Touching another man's prey?" Alicia stamps him into the ground, reminding him, "Even in hell they punish you for stealing." The stunned cat-eared guy sits up, covering his mouth with his hand. His eyes full of terror, he whispers, "Please have mercy." Alicia freezes, surprised. "The monster talked?" The spear stabs into the ground next to the trembling boy, showing her seriousness. He bows low, apologizing for the attempted theft and offering all of his mana stones. The guy begs for mercy, promising never to show up here again. Alicia watches his repentance in silence and bewilderment. She asks if he knows the place. The guy replies, "Well, that's West Alec, right?" Chibi Alicia thinks with surprise, "Is that the real name of the place?" Alicia reflects that the one thing she has learned here is that this place is called Hell. She covers her face with her hand, remembering, this place? As a child, she had read about Hell's purple skies, red-hot cliffs, and stifling heat. The sacred text read, "The heat here does not abate even at night." Alicia admits to herself that she still doesn't understand much about the world. The cat-eared guy points to the mana stones, asking, "Then what are these?" Alicia's eyes widen at the thought. A strange stone that makes you stronger if you eat it. She thinks with a slight chuckle, "Oh, so it's a mana stone, huh?" The long-eared guy asks bewilderedly if it's okay to leave such a treasure on the ground, and Alicia clarifies, "Is it a treasure?" He rapturously shouts that it's the biggest mana stone he's ever seen, possibly even Lord level. The long-eared boy dreams of the power, and Alicia suddenly offers, "Then I'll give it to you." The chibi versions of the characters are surprised. Alicia repeats, "This mana stone, I'll give it to you." The guy with the cat ears, blushing, incredulously interjects, "P, really?" Alicia confirms with a sly smile, "Yeah, I'll really give it to you." She sets a condition. "If you answer a few of my questions." Suddenly, a black raven with glowing eyes appears as if from a memory. The voiceover explains, "Mana stones are crystallized power from concentrated mana." A cloaked figure bursts into the room, addressing Lady Alicia. "Simply hunting wild beasts will not be enough." The explanation continues. Wild monster mana stones are random byproducts with limited accumulation. 2 ferocious demonic wolves appear. But we demons with minds are different. Demons, unlike beasts, purposefully accumulate mana by hunting each other for power. Therefore, the stronger the demon killed, the more powerful its mana stone will be. The cloaked figure lists the names: Noah of the East, Alik of the West, Fez of the South, and Kaya of the North. These 4 are the lords of their castles, and they are considered the strongest in hell. Recollection shows the scene of the ascension or fall, separating light and darkness. The bright light intensifies, symbolizing some important event or transition. At the end of the path, in a glowing opening, a figure sits on a throne, greeting the seeker. A green-haired demon with a predatory smile welcomes a guest to the castle of West Alik. He introduces himself as the manager of West Hall and master of West Alec Castle. Suddenly, Alicia's spear slams into something with force, interrupting his speech. Alicia looks up, declaring, "Submissions don't interest me." The camera shows a huge castle hall with a magnificent chandelier overhead. Alicia stands in the center, appraising, "Not a bad size." She holds up a glowing red mana stone in her hand, noting, "Gotta hunt the big ones." With spear in hand, Alicia ponders whether to head east or north. Suddenly, the mana stone in her hand explodes with pink shards. Alicia looks at the glowing energy in her hands with a smile, saying she has plenty of time. A close-up of her violet eye reflecting the light. Her eye narrowing slightly in surprise, she utters, "Huh?" and thinks, "Wait a minute." Alicia's gaze becomes intense. She realizes something important. "No. Wait." Alicia cries out. Her consciousness is pierced by a blinding flash. She sits up abruptly in bed, her gaze immediately fixed on the familiar chandelier. The girl looks around the luxurious chambers in a daze, whispering, "This is my room?" Lifting herself up on the bed, she feels an unfamiliar, almost childlike lightness. Alicia hastily gets out from under the silk blanket, still disoriented. Clutching her buzzing head, she struggles to realize, I'm back? Her violet eye widens at a sudden, frightening guess. Running up to a tall mirror in a gilded frame, Alicia freezes in shock. From the mirror, a youthful face looks back at her own, but many years younger. Touching the delicate cheek, she thinks in amazement, Is Is it because of the Lord's Mana Stone? Alicia touches her ankle, wondering if she heard it in the fall. Her violet eyes widening with horror, she whispers, "What is it?" Examining her leg, she realizes with horror that there is no trace of her former strength, only fragility. Alicia examines her hands as well in despair. What the hell is wrong with this frail body? She realizes that in her condition she can't even hold a stick, let alone a spear. Broken, Alicia falls to her knees, seemingly having returned from hell. She's lost all her power. All the power accumulated by collecting mana stones in hell. Vanished without a trace, leaving only emptiness in her hands. A sudden knock on the door interrupts her gloomy thoughts. A maid's voice comes from outside the door. "Lady Alicia, it's Daisy." Alicia flinches when she hears the question. "May I come in?" She hastily ducks under the blanket, then peeks out and allows it. "Come in." Daisy enters, wishing good morning to Lady Alicia, still in bed. The maid inquires sympathetically, "Did you sleep well?" Alicia replies with a nervous smile. Yeah," as Daisy begins her question. Suddenly, Alicia abruptly sits up in bed, catching Daisy off guard. She leans forward, asking insistently, "Daisy, how old are you now?" Daisy, slightly puzzled, interjects, "Are you interested in my age?" The maid replies that she is 22 years old and that fall has already passed. Daisy anxiously asks what's wrong, seeing Alicia turn pale. Alicia faints, realizing that this is the beginning of her downfall. She realizes she's been thrown back to her 17-year-old past. The frames change, showing a peaceful sunny day outside the window. Alicia wakes up in her bed with an unfamiliar lady sitting next to her and Daisy standing off to the side. The girl moans and a black-gloved hand gently touches her forehead. Alicia struggles to open her eyes, whispering that she is thirsty. The blonde-haired lady excitedly exclaims, "Alicia!" as Daisy holds up a tray of water. The woman helps Alicia sit up and carefully asks her to drink slowly so she doesn't choke. Alicia stares in front of her, and the lady asks in a concerned manner what happened to her, since she fell so suddenly. Alicia thanks the woman, calling her Mom. The mother's gaze is full of hidden anxiety and tension. Alicia resolutely leaves the room, ignoring the maid. She wonders if there's a place in this house she's not allowed to go. Alicia suspects something is being kept from her. The servants panic to report her direction. Rumors of the Marquise's illegitimate child reach the ears of the servants. A little girl is playing in a room, unaware of what's going on. Alicia sees the girl and feels threatened by her mother. The girl looks at Alicia and asks her name. The mother kneels down in front of the girl, introducing herself. "I'm your mom." The girl with the violet eyes looks at her with slight confusion. Suddenly, Alicia is seized by a frightening memory. A dark figure and the words, "Do you understand, my lady?" The voice from the past continues. "Everything you enjoy is not yours." The mother's face from the memory glows with a sinister smile. "Be grateful for what is given and don't wish for more." Young Alicia is horrified at these words, her eyes full of fear. The real little girl hides fearfully behind the maid, who exclaims, "My lady!" Alicia's mother smiles softly. "You were surprised at my sudden visit, weren't you?" She announces that she is leaving, advising Alicia to rest while the girl timidly peeks out. Alicia thinks, "To think that I am the daughter of such a beautiful and kind man." Alicia clenches her fists at her chest, full of regret. "I'm so sorry, what am I going to do?" The image of her mother, whose existence seemed sinful to Alicia, comes to her mind. Even after realizing true motherly love, she continued to blame herself. Alicia recalls how she couldn't bring herself to call her anything other than Marquise. Sitting in bed with a glass of water, she thinks about how much she regretted it in hell. Alicia makes up her mind and asks, "Mom, can I have another glass of water?" The mother is surprised. The mother replies with a gentle smile, "Sure, honey, I'll get it right away." She asks sympathetically if Alicia needs anything else, promising to fulfill everything. Daisy notes thoughtfully to herself that my lady spoke without stammering. The maid is also amazed that Alicia finally calls Mistress Mom. Daisy ponders how a person can change so much in an instant. The mother assumes Alicia is weak and offers herbal tea as if her daughter has returned from the other side of the world. Alicia gently touches her mother's hand, calling her by that name again. The girl suddenly asks if it is already decided that her fiancé is Gregory Barker, which shocks her mother. Her mother takes her hand, saying that Alicia is too young. Alicia admits that she doesn't like Gregory and hopes that it can still be fixed. However, the marriage of aristocrats is a contract between families. Can even a mother help? The mother declares emphatically, "Leave it to me." Alicia is surprised when her mother admits that she didn't like Gregory Barker either. The mother adds that Gregory, though different in appearance and personality, reminds her of Alicia's father when she was young. Her mother hugs Alicia tightly, promising to protect her. She vows to prevent an unwanted marriage. Alicia's determined footsteps echo down the hallway. She enters the study of her father, the Marquis. The Marquis, without taking his eyes off the letter, frowns. Alicia demands the immediate release of her mother. Her father resents her insolence and cavalier attitude. He orders her back to her room. Alicia doesn't back down, her gaze full of determination. She addresses her father formally, challenging him to a conversation.